Hey, to all you Guild Wars 2 fans out there, this is Breedthegreat. Thank you and welcome to my channel. For all my current subscribers, thank you for your subscription. To all my new subscribers, welcome. To all my future subscribers, go ahead and hurry up and click that link on your top left of your screen and subscribe to my channel so that you may become eligible for the prize giveaway by the 28th of August, so long as we have 1,000 subscribers to this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. I'm going to discuss in depth the different builds, or the two builds that I primarily rely on for the confusion condition damage spec. Now, these builds are still in progress. However, I find that these were the most productive builds for me during the betas, stress tests, and other Guild Wars 2 events gameplay that I experienced. So, without further ado, okay, so here's my build. I went 15 in dueling, 15 in chaos, 20 in inspiration, and 20 in illusions. For dueling, I really wanted desperate decoy and deceptive evasion. Those were the two primary skills and reasons why I went so far in this trait tree. With desperate decoy, obviously, it's a huge benefit to be able to cloak and go invis at 25% of your health, so you can just wait for that cooldown on your heal to come up. For the deceptive evasion, you're already dodging in this game anyway, so you might as well have something come out of that when you do dodge, and so the benefit that you get when you dodge as a Mesmer, as long as you're spec 15 points in a dueling, is the ability to create a clone of yourself as you dodge. Critical infusion, 1 second of vigor on critical hits. It's not really a must for me, at least. I mean, I could go without that. Don't see really a huge benefit of what that does for me, as this is not really a critical hit DPS type build. This is a long sustained battle type build, so that is dueling in a nutshell. From a chaos perspective, the main skills, actually all three of these skills are very good. They provide a lot of synergies with each other, and they basically have a combined effect to increase your health and longevity. So with metaphysical rejuvenation, obviously you're going to get a 10-second hot heal over time for 10 seconds. That's awesome. So as soon as you hit 75%, you don't really necessarily have to worry about your health. From illusionary defense, anytime that I have illusions out in the world, 3% reduced damage. So for 3 illusions, you have 9% reduced damage. From illusionary membrane, the illusionary membrane is great because now anytime I regen, I gain 2 seconds of protection, which you see how it goes hand in hand with metaphysical rejuvenation. Amazing stuff there. From inspiration, the main two skills that I really wanted was Glamour Mastery and Temporal Enchanter. Temporal Enchanter allows my Glamour skills to last longer, so Glamour skills such as Null Filled, which increases my ability to wipe conditions applied against me, and then Glamour skills recharge 20% faster, which basically means I can keep Null Filled up at a consistent rate faster than I normally would, which is critical in this build. And when you go up against different types of opponents, specifically those opponents that apply a lot of conditions against you. So from an illusion standpoint, really the main key ingredient of this is illusionary retribution and mastery of misdirection, or master of misdirection. All your confusion skills that you apply increase and last for 33% longer, which is amazing. So now that ensures that any confusion that you apply is not being wiped off immediately as you put it on there on your opponent. And then all your shatter skills, regardless of what type of shatter you choose, whether it be mind rack, distortion, whatever the shatter may be, it's going to cause confusion. Amazing stuff. So now not only is your confusion going to last longer, but anytime you shatter, which you're constantly doing with this build and this gameplay, you will always have the ability to create confusion against your enemies. Also, like I said in my previous videos, what I've noticed is that shatters also create a AoE effect. So anytime you shatter, regardless of who's there, it's not going to target one specific enemy. More or less, anybody in the vicinity of the shatter is going to get the effect of confusion. So awesome stuff. And I really like that spec. So moving on, as we go through the actual skills, you'll notice that I have Either Feast as my healing. I use Either Feast because, one, I get healing off the bat for 5560, which is amazing single heal, but for every active illusion I have, I get an additional 2232 health. So 3 illusions, 2232, you do the math, equals basically back to full health, as long as I keep my illusions up, which I do in this build. Mirror images, they allow me to keep my illusions clones up as much as possible, as well as enable me to break stuns and target a specific foe and create a more mass hysteria on the field, because now my opponents don't necessarily know who I am as long as I keep that up. Signet of Illusions. The reason why I kept this up is because I didn't want my illusions to die very fast. I wanted them to die on my impetus versus the opponent's. So whenever I shattered them, that's when I wanted them to die. So that's the reason why I kept it. For no field, again, for the obvious reasons. If you go against another condition build opponent that's applying heavy conditions against you, you want null field to wipe those conditions, as well as wipe any positive boons against your opponent. So it has two effects. It scrubs any negative conditions against you and takes away your opponent's positive conditions, or boons as they're called. And Massive Viz, that's my key elite skill, because I feel that I get more out of Massive Viz. I can create mass hysteria on the battlefield by making everybody on my team go invisible and making them untargetable by the opponent and opposing team. So it has more effect than the MOA in my opinion, because the MOA is only a single target, whereas mass invisibility is affecting an entire group that's surrounding you. So those are the skills and traits for build 1 in a nutshell. And just a quick recap, here's wins with the staff. I'm just going to quickly go over some of the skills that they offer. You have the most beneficial one for me would be Chaos Armor and Chaos Storm. I think I've been calling Chaos Storm Chaos Armor, confusing the two, but you guys know what I mean when I lay it down. And I've already kind of gone over Ether Fees, Mirror Images, Signet of Illusions, Null Field, and Mass and Viz, so no need to repeat myself there. But Ether Bolt is awesome. It actually provides you an illusion on your third proc of that spell. Confusing Images, that is your bread and butter for confusion build. The Prestige, very good skill to have when you're in those tight spaces and you need to get out really quickly. And it also creates damage as you come back out of it. Phantasmal Mage, it applies confusion. It doesn't really proc that much, and in the way I use Phantasms, I really don't use them. I pretty much shatter everything that comes up. So in this current fight, you'll see me, I always start off the fight with Shatter of my illusions, so I make sure I always have 3 up. You'll see me here. I lay down Chaos Storm just because that guy knocked me back, and that was kind of, I wasn't prepared for it. But here I start my rotation up again. You see me Shatter, and I get my stack up to 10 there. And then it resets itself as back down to 5 and 6, as you remember from my previous videos, me stating that confusion, when it degrades, it'll go back down to 5 and 6 if you reapply another skill that applies illusion or confusion to it. So that was a quick little snapshot of what happens when you are in this build, how you can use this build effectively against your opponent. Here's another take at this as well. Again, you'll see me start off with Mirror Images just so I get 2 clones up and fast. Immediately dodge so I can get that 3rd clone up. Shatter, have 8, 9, 10, 11 stacks after using Confusing Images. Saw 1400 hit against the opponent there by him inflicting damage against himself, and pretty much that was it. He died really fast. And here's another take at it just so you can see it again. Start off with Mirror Images, do the dodge. As he comes towards me, I let him come towards me so I can shatter him, so I keep him in the same place. Use Confusing Images. I get the stack up to 11. You see what he does against himself, and then I actually got off another shatter there towards the end there. So that's that. Okay, so here's the modification that I made to the next spec. This is build 2. This is more of a offensive build in nature. The only major thing here that I've changed is that I've taken out points from Chaos and I've applied them into dueling so I can get blade training, because instead of yielding a staff and scepter and torch, I'm now yielding 2 dual blades and a scepter and torch. And the reason why I went dual blades is just so I could try to up my precision as much as possible, so I can increase my crits because they were so low. And really, it's a kind of a defensive offensive build, with the anticipation that as someone comes towards me, that I would be able to blow them up with Blurry Frenzy, and it was all in the hopes that they came towards me versus me going up to them. Because as long as I was able to keep my distance, I was switched in my weapons to Scepter and Torch, and I was just applying confusion as they were off, as confusing images was off cooldown. So again, the same reasons why I spec'd into these traits from the previous build are still applicable here, and I just gave my justification to why I did blade training. I'm not necessarily certain I like this build, but just want to give you a quick little synopsis of this build in action and how I use it more in an offensive nature. Again, I'm still primarily doing some things here that I did the same before, but now ultimately I'm starting out with, instead of staff, I'm starting out with Scepter Torch, so I can immediately apply confusing images and get that confusion stack up on my opponents. Oh yeah, another thing that I did change here too with my loadout was I got rid of the SIGINT and I used feedback instead. And the reason being is because I had an answer for, you know, close hand combat with warriors and guardians. Now I wanted the ability to effectively nullify any ranged attacks, and so feedback allows me to do that. So I put feedback in 9, and basically what it does is it creates a dome around my opponents or even myself and reflects the projectile. So any projectile that that my opponent uses that's a ranged skill, they will basically kill themselves and nullify their attack, because with confusion on them plus the feedback around them, now anytime they do any type of skill, they're effectively, if they're in that dome, they're effectively just making that skill pop off the dome, hit them, and then they kill themselves extremely fast, as you saw. That's exactly what I just did on that Necro monster there. You know, I had confusion on him, plus put feedback on him. He was hitting his best skills out there, which were effectively killing him. So there's a really good synergy with confusion plus feedback against ranged. And another thing good about feedback is that it's a glamour skill, and so you've already spec'd into glamour, so you know everything is applicable. Before, the reason why you use no field and the reason why I spec'd into glamour was so that trait and skill is on cooldown as much as possible and last a lot longer. So really just enjoy the gameplay for the rest of this video. I'm just basically going around and looking for targets of opportunity. This is Dara McTire. I've been calling it Dara McTire, so if I say it either way, just bear with me, because some people in the guild say it both ways. So I typically like to say Dara McTire, so apologize if that's the wrong way, but it's really tomato. Anyway, again, doing the same thing, targeting the enemy, making sure I apply confusion on them. And it's still, this build is more or less, again, still defensive in nature. You're waiting for your opponent to come to you, and when they do, if they are brave enough to do so, you automatically apply confusion to them, and then as they come towards you, you hit Blurry Frenzy with your dual swords. I think it would probably be more effective just to go ahead and put that pistol in there to get Illusionary Duelist, if that's more of your flavor. But me personally, I don't really rely on my phantasms to do DPS. I rely on myself and the skills that I apply to my opponents. So that's the reason why I typically don't care to have a pistol in this build. I typically want to have more clones up than phantasms. Now, I'm not saying that you can't get the most out of your phantasms. Maybe I'm just doing this, I haven't learned to progress to that level yet. I'm still trying to figure out this skill or profession as a Mesmer, and we'll get better as we go along. But there's one more build that I want to try out that I think is going to be really good for all of us, and just want to make sure it's viable before I post it up here and actually show footage of me using that build versus just me theorizing about the build through a skill trait tool list. And that is pretty much the builds that I wanted to show you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, any recommendations on how I can improve the build, please feel free to leave comments, likes, dislikes the build. Let me know what I can do better to make this channel more visually pleasing for you and the wide audience out there. Thank you guys again for subscribing to my channel. This is Breedthegreat signing